Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Zach coming at you from the game room, and we're in the middle of kind of doing a bit of reorganization, moving some things around. One of the things that we recently did was change up the way that these VHS slash game slash DVD displays were organized in order to kind of optimize the space that we have available to us. And now that I've reorganized, I kind of wanted to take a minute to break down my full wrestling VHS and DVD collection. We'll primarily focus on the VHSs though, because honestly those are just the most fun. A good 95% of these VHSs are my originals from childhood. Managed to hang on to them through all of the moves, all the transitions in life, and still displaying them proudly today. Many of them, as I will show you, still have the Blockbuster PVT label on them that shows the date that they were originally taken off of the rental rack and listed for sale. That was how I built up the great majority of this collection as a little kid, 11, 12, 13 years old. The only 3 VHSs that I've added on to this wall as an adult were 3 WCW pay-per-views from 2000, the Great American Bash, New Blood Rising, and Fall Brawl. So without further ado, let's get into the wrestling VHS and DVD collection. So here is the rack from top to bottom, and we'll start all the way at the top with the classic 5 VHSs. All of the WrestleManias 1 through 14, random ECW Extreme Evolution VHS. Let's take a look at that. I believe this one was purchased at Blockbuster as well. This is the only ECW VHS that I've got. The Blockbuster tag is not on there, but I do think this was something I got from my local Blockbuster. So as I was saying originally, a lot of these videos I bought on my own as a little kid, but I would say probably close to half of these were actually given to me by my upstairs neighbor of the apartment complex that I lived in as a little boy. Her name was Nancy. Every month she would go to her friend's house, watch the pay-per-views, and I would be like, you know, a little kid on Christmas waiting for her to get home at around 11, 12 at night. I'd see those headlights pull up, and as I run out and she's walking up the steps, she would just slide me the taped pay-per-view from the night, and I would be up until about 3 o'clock in the morning watching all 3+ hours of that pay-per-view that she recorded for me. And quite a few of these VHSs up here, that like the documentaries and these first 14 WrestleManias and such, those were her personal collection. As you can see, this one has never even been opened. Still has the original wrapping on it, the original $14.99 price tag too. So she passed away in 2001, lost her battle with cancer, and her daughters said that she wanted me to have her collection. So I ended up inheriting all of her VHS collection, which was absorbed into my VHS collection, and I still have all of the original taped pay-per-views on just like the blank RCA tapes. They're all boxed up in a Rubbermaid. They're actually right behind that wall there, and that is a piece of history and a piece of my personal childhood that I will carry with me forever, because it really meant a lot to me, and I'm glad that I get to continue her legacy and her fandom on with this collection today. So yeah, side ran over. As you can see here, we've got WrestleMania X7 from 2001. We got Judgment Day. I believe this is Judgment Day 2000. It is. The return of The Undertaker, the Iron Man match with Triple H and The Rock. I'm a massive Triple H fan, so that was a big treat for me. Big Rock fan too, but Triple H is always and forever my guy. SummerSlam, Bought this back in 2003, as you can see, for $5. And it was listed on March 6th of 2003. SummerSlam 98. Listed on July 19th of 2001. Today is, I did not plan this. This was not a pre-planned thing. Today is July 19th of 2024. So exactly 23 years ago to the day, this VHS was pulled by some Blockbuster employee and listed for sale. And it ended up in my collection. SummerSlam 99. Triple threat match. Triple H came within an inch of winning that WWF title. Also listed on July 19th of 01. So these guys were listed together, and I'm sure I ended up buying them on the same day. So here we've got more WrestleMania. These are kind of out of order. I had all of these in perfect chronological order by event, by year. But when we moved everything around in here, as you can see, there is still some stuff that is in the middle of being organized. When we moved everything around, this kind of got out of order. So I do need to come through and reorganize. This is just kind of an impromptu video that I wanted to share. So maybe we'll do another one in the future where this is a little more neat. But, yeah, WrestleMania 15. This is the first WWF VHS I ever owned. Bought this in late 1999. What a great, wholesome piece of entertainment for a 10-year-old to own. Remember, I bought this new from a movie gallery. If anyone remembers Movie Gallery. Moving on, this would be the second VHS I ever owned as a kid. The Rock's, not his first, I believe this was his second VHS tape. Got Backlash, King of the Ring, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That was the debut of the Big Show, as we know. Paul White, Eva Destruction. Then down here we've got an old King of the Ring. I remember buying this from a movie gallery as well. This is a very, obviously you guys can't feel this for yourself, but this is like a considerably heavier VHS than the others. I'm not sure why. I guess there's just more actual tape on this reel. I don't really know, but that thing has always felt like 1.5 times as heavy as every other standard VHS I own. The good old Divas VHSs. Yep. Plenty of research done with those as a child. Clearly for educational purposes. King of the Ring, Unforgiven, No Mercy, multiple years. This was actually, I believe this was a UK exclusive special. So May 16th, 1999. Never seen in the US. Never was broadcast in the US. And later that year, we would get this version of No Mercy in the States. October 17th, 99. Triple H and Austin main eventing for the title. And of course, No Mercy. This was right after 9/11, and Kurt Angle, for that brief period of time, made that big babyface turn and was just on fire. It was really a crazy time in the world, and it was a nice touch, I think, just for that brief period to kind of give Kurt Angle that big babyface push and really get all of America behind Kurt during a very uncertain time. It was cool to be a part of as a little kid. I remember that. Of course, we got Survivor Series 2000 and 2001. Or excuse me, 2002. This was the first Elimination Chamber when Triple H got his larynx crushed by good old RVD. Complete mistake. Accidents happen in wrestling, of course. It's not ballet. It was a scary thing. Survivor Series 01. That was also when Shawn Michaels, 02, that was when Shawn Michaels made his triumphant return and won the World Heavyweight Championship. I wish he would have gotten a longer run with the big gold belt. What do you guys think? Comment down below on what you would have liked to see HBK do if he could have done anything differently in his 02 run with WWF. Would you have changed anything? I know what I would have changed. A lot of this. A lot of the 2001 Invasion angle, I would have changed a lot of it. Don't even get me started, but You could have had some serious money, even with the limited talent that you had at the time in 2001. I mean, you could have had DDP come in a completely different fashion than the way he did, and it would have just made way more sense. He was a big star back then. I know we didn't have Steiner yet, we didn't have the NWO yet, we didn't have Goldberg or Sting yet, but we did have DDP, we did have Booker T, we did have Buff Bagwell, even though that didn't work out in the long term. We did have some star power. I just feel like it was not managed in the best way, but, you know, that's life. Life goes on. So we've got Survivor Series 98 as well. That would be the Rock's first run as world champion, if I remember correctly. Armageddon. Let's see if there's a Blockbuster tag on the back of this one. I want to say, nope, there's not, but I know I got this one from a Blockbuster. But moving on down here to the WCW side of things, this is what I'm really most excited to take a look at, because this, I was actually a WCW fan before I was ever a WWF fan. Probably about 6 months before I discovered the WWF. In August of 99, I discovered the WCW. In February or March of 99, and at the time I was unaware that it was beginning to become a bit of a sinking ship. To me, it was amazing. It was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen. So I have a little bit of bias towards WCW in 99. But even I figured out by 2000 it was going, as Tony Schiavone once called it, it was a coffin on roller skates by 2000. But, you know, I might be one of the few people that has a bit of bias towards this weird little spaceship logo. I look back at it fondly, whereas a lot of people are just used to seeing that logo. And they're not very happy about this one, but I'm kind of the other way around. I really loved the spaceship era. Not so much a fan of it when they took the spaceship set away and it was just a big bland Tron, as they did in the Vince Russo era in 2000, but I digress. Start off here with Halloween Havoc 98. And yeah, you could see here, this was listed for sale on February 25th of 01. I actually just rewatched this pay-per-view last night, ironically, for the first time in years. And you always forget, when it's been a while, how bad, how objectively bad the Hogan and Warrior match was. I mean, left a lot to be desired. Moving on, I do think I was able to keep these in order. Yeah, Starrcade 97, this will be my oldest pay-per-view. And then Halloween Havoc 98 will be the second oldest. And then from there, I am happy to say I've got every WCW pay-per-view from January of 99 all the way up to the last pay-per-view released on VHS by WCW, to my knowledge at least, Fall Brawl 2000, with the exception of missing one solitary VHS. That would be Bash at the Beach 2000. I know several years ago on eBay that thing was going for $500 just because of how rare it is. So few of them were released. From what I understand, due to the lawsuit between Hogan and WCW, distribution on the tape got canceled shortly after it began. So there's just a really limited number of VHSs. I believe that's the reason. If I'm mistaken, somebody comment below and let me know if I'm wrong. But whatever the reason may be, it is the least produced VHS from that year to my knowledge, and it is definitely the most expensive. So maybe one of these days, my hope is that I'll stumble upon it at a yard sale and pick it up for $2, but you know, one can dream. Let's start off here with Sold Out. This is kind of what I really wanted to look over. Goldberg and Hall in a ladder match. Nice. Super Brawl. I always thought this was a cool VHS cover. Flair and Hogan. Bought it on August 1st of 2001. Uncensored. August 22nd of 2000. Try to fix that there. Nope. Spring Stampede. Now this is the first WCW pay-per-view I remember being around for. I remember my first Nitro It was right after Uncensored 99. It was kind of in the aftermath of that pay-per-view. And I remember DDP's big title win. And now looking back on it as an adult and seeing the build that DDP took to get from where he was to that world title picture, it's even more special to see. Slamboree, DDP and Nash for the world title. Great American Bash. Macho Man and Kevin Nash. Bash at the Beach 99. So this was that weird tag match for the world title where it was Sting and Nash against Macho Man and Sid Vicious, and anybody who scored the pin in the match ended up leaving with the world title. So in theory, if Sting wanted to screw Nash over and get a pinfall on him, he could have walked out as the world champion, and that would have been totally fine and legal for him to just pin his partner like that and win the title. From what I remember, it was a weird. This is when things were really starting to get weird with the company. Just a couple months before Eric Bischoff got sent home in September. Also, this boxing match, Roddy Piper and Buff Bagwell. I actually lived in Buff Bagwell's old apartment complex, Poplar Place Apartments in Kennesaw, Georgia. And Missy Hyatt found him at the pool, the same pool that I swam in many times as a youngster, and recruited him to the world of pro wrestling. So it was like the talk of the town when Buff Bagwell was making a play towards the top of the card in WCW around like that summer to fall of 1999. He never quite made it to the main event, but as he was getting that big babyface push, he was the talk of my apartment complex. Everybody was so pumped that the hometown guy, Buff the Stuff, was getting so much TV time. It was a cool thing to be a part of. Road Wild 99, Nash and Hogan in a retirement match. Nash's retirement lasted all of 2 months. Me not knowing any better, I was like, man, 10 years old, I was like, man, he's done? I was just really enjoying Kevin Nash. I'm never going to see him again? That sucks. Oh, the things that you learn with age. Fall Brawl 99, this is a really special one for me. This was the first pay-per-view my mom ever actually bought for me so I could watch live. Hogan and Sting on top for the world title. Looks like I got this one on January 8th of 2001. Take a quick detour here. Just a couple of years ago, I actually found this on eBay. A seat cushion from that actual pay-per-view. This was something that if you mailed WCW your receipt from the cable company that was a proof of purchase of the pay-per-view, they sent you this fancy seat cushion. So, cop that for $25 in an auction on eBay. Always be on the lookout for super obscure things on eBay. Never know what treasures you'll find. Halloween Havoc 99, still sealed. Nope, not still sealed. I lied. Still sealed on top. This actually is a replacement that I did buy a few years ago, back in I believe 2019, because I had this VHS originally as a kid, got it from Blockbuster. Don't know what happened to it. It fell victim to a move somewhere along the line. So me being a completionist with OCD, had to repurchase it. Mayhem 99, this was after Sting was stripped of the title and they ended up putting the championship on Brett. I actually really enjoyed this concept of the tournament. That was one of the things that I think, at least in concept, in theory, it was a cool concept that I think Vince Russo got right. Maybe it wasn't the best in execution. Starrcade 99. Poor Brett. That was a bad night for him. Took that really stiff sidekick from Goldberg, and just a few weeks later ended up wrestling his last match, I believe against Kevin Nash on TV, and he had to have an impromptu retirement shortly after that. I know he was scheduled to defend the world title at this pay-per-view. He was the champion at the time of that happening, and he ended up having to vacate the title, at which point Chris Benoit and Sid Vicious main evented. They put the title on Benoit, and he was gone the next day because of new management that he was not getting along with the rest of the Radicals, who ended up in the WWF shortly after. Super Brawl 2000, main event triple threat, Sid, Jarrett, and Hall. We'll quickly go down the rest of this since we've already started. Kind of not a super exciting year here in 2000, but it's still cool to have the VHSs and be able to look back on the artwork in just a very controversial and interesting time in the wrestling world. Oh yeah, the Ready to Rumble triple threat cage match. I actually got to see a live screening of Ready to Rumble a couple of years ago with my wife in Atlanta with DDP. He actually sat with us, watched the screening with us, and we got to hang out with him and talk afterwards. He asked me to feel his bicep because he was promoting his new Power Cuff product line. That was pretty cool. Like I say, I got to squeeze DDP's biceps. Pretty awesome. And then here we are, the last three in the set here. Great American Bash. A day before my birthday, July 30th of 2001. I was born on July 31st. New Blood Rising. And Fall Brawl. And it looks like this person probably bought all these together at the same time too. These are the three that I was telling you I added to my collection just recently here. Made an offer for all three of them on eBay, and I paid close to this $2.99 price tag. You just have to take the decimal point away between the 2 and the 9, and that's more along the lines of what I paid for these three VHS tapes. So not my most financially prudent decision, but you know, sometimes you just got to go after the things that you like just for the sake of liking them. Not all the time, but sometimes. Finishing up here with the WCW stuff, some documentaries, some best ofs, as you can see. And that will be the end of the VHS tapes. We'll just quickly go down the line of some DVDs here. All the Royal Rumbles over the years. The WrestleManias. The Backlashes. Quick side story on WrestleMania 21. This DVD in particular is special to me because I remember this came out obviously in 2005, around July of 2005, and I turned 16 July 31st 2005, and one day later, one day after my 16th birthday, on August 1st, I got my first job at the local Taco Bell in Nashville, Tennessee, off of Edmondson Pike. For any of you locals that are familiar with the area, Nipper's Corner Taco Bell. And as a celebratory sign of my independence, I celebrated by walking to the local Borders bookstore and buying WrestleMania 21 on DVD as a way to commemorate my first step towards becoming an independent grown man that makes his own paychecks. I celebrated with WrestleMania 21. So, cool little side story there. Cool to me, at least. And then we've got, you know, Backlashes, Bad Blood, Invasion, Vengeance, SummerSlam. Back when the WWE Network was transitioning to Peacock, I was a little worried that they weren't going to bring all the old stuff over and they might just show some of the new stuff. So I got in a bit of a buying frenzy on eBay and bought this stuff, bought as many of the DVDs from the early 2000s that I was interested in retaining. But as you can see today, all those pay-per-views are available on Peacock for now. Always subject to change, I think, especially with this Netflix deal that'll be happening in 2025. Who knows what will happen in the future, but at least I can rest easy knowing that all the ones that I want to keep for myself are right here on DVD, on physical media for me to come to whenever I feel like it. You see some documentaries here. And to cap off the set there, a vintage DVD case from Blockbuster. $1.49. I believe this is James Bond. So, piece of history right there. The only place you're going to get that today is in Bend, Oregon at the last Blockbuster. Final thing that I want to just mention right here, Fastlane 2015. As you can see, this was the pay-per-view where Bray Wyatt popped out of the casket to challenge The Undertaker to a match at WrestleMania. Well, this was actually my first experience as an extra with WWE, and I was one of the Druid priests that lit the torch to light the way for this casket to be wheeled out to the arena for Bray Wyatt to pop out of and make his big challenge to The Undertaker for WrestleMania. It was an amazing time, an amazing experience, especially for my very first experience working with the WWE. I'll always be grateful for that experience. Bray Wyatt was super cool to just kind of be around and talk to and interact with. He was a really nice guy, and he was a tremendous talent. So, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. We all miss you, and wrestling was a better place for having you in it. So that's it for now, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out together for a minute, kind of taking a trip down memory lane with me as I peruse my collection with you, kind of dust off the old VHSs and let you take a look at the collection that I've accumulated over time. Hopefully it brought back some cool memories for you too. If you are somebody, a fellow millennial that grew up with this stuff like me, and if you're just now seeing it for the first time, hopefully it was cool to take a look and see what good old physical media looked like back in the day in the late 90s and the early 2000s when streaming services were not a thing, and you just looked forward to going to your local Blockbuster every Friday, Saturday night to rent, and in my case, eventually buy some good old pre-owned physical media to store in your collection and box up and carry around with you for move after move after move over 25 plus years just because you have an irrational love of physical media and the memories that this stuff brings back every time you browse through it and relive the golden years of pro wrestling and just generally a really fun time in the late 90s and early 2000s. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Please like the video. Please subscribe. Continue to hang out as we post more and more content over the coming weeks and months. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate all the interaction, all the positivity. Thanks a lot. If there's anything particular that you want to see in a future video, drop a comment and let me know. But until next time, take care, guys.